Okay, we're going to be taking a look at a clip from Sam Harris's channel. This is Making Sense, where he talks about him recently taking a look at a Louis Theroux documentary on the Manosphere and kind of red pill type of characters such as Myron Gaines, Andrew Tate. Sam Harris always pretty much politically aligns with left of center, and he is vehemently anti-Trump and anything, red pill, right wing or whatnot. So his views always tend to skew a little bit to the opposite side. But let's go ahead and take a look at what he has to say in this clip, and then we'll break it down and we'll get some thoughts out of it. Let's go.
What did you think about the documentary Inside the Manosphere? Are the kids all right?
Oh my God. That was, I don't know how many people have seen that. It's Louis Theroux's recent doc on Netflix. And it turns out, Andrew Tate is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, Andrew Tate's kind of a starting point for this documentary, but then he introduced a lot of other figures who I don't think I'd ever seen most of these guys. It's much uglier than I realized, and it's much more depressing to see young men taken in by these, not just con artists, but obviously terrible people, right?
Let's stop it there. Now, what would cause young men to be taken in by these people in the quote unquote manosphere? Sam doesn't really address that issue. We're going to get into it. He goes on to call them horrible people, bad people. But what created this reaction? What created this backlash? Let's continue.
There's been an erosion in the norms around even pretending to be a good person. I mean, this is the thing. It's like it'd be one thing to be pretending to be a good person and to be revealed to not be a good person. I mean, that's a sort of a normal degree of hypocrisy and norm violation that I think we're all aware of. But we're now in a culture where a lot of the time there's no pretense around being a good person. In fact, only a sucker would even want to be a good person, right? No, here you should just be a sociopath, right? You should be a misogynist. You should be a racist. You should be an anti-Semite. It's like you should just be awful, because that is just the freest expression of your egocentricity, right? Like this is how like the peacock feathers of your selfishness, fully.
Let's stop it right there. Now, the message that he's talking about right now, where he said that you should just be free to just be whatever you want to be. Where does that ideology typically come from? Which side of the political aisle is usually pushing the idea that be who you want to be? If you want to be that, you can be this, be this. If you want to be that, be that. If you want to be a woman, be a woman. If you want to be a man, be a man. If you want to be both, if you want to be whatever it is in life that you want to be, which side of the political aisle is pushing that? Did they not expect for some of that to bleed into other ideologies or other ideas? Did they only expect that it to stick to sexuality or gender or whatever the case may be? If people are being told be whatever you want to be, and somebody says, hey, you know what, I want to be an asshole, and they decide to go ahead and do that, this ideology that's being pushed may also help push someone in that direction. Let's continue.
Spread to the greatest advantage, right? Like this is how your selfhood can be appreciated from all sides. Just declare your awfulness without shame, and find an audience that will celebrate you for that. And that's what's happened online. I mean, these guys are just, they're terrible people, right? I mean, they're just, granted they're wounded terrible people. I mean, Louis delves into their childhoods enough to realize, okay, well, these are all guys who were beaten by their dads, and, okay, well, maybe that's how you make a terrible adult, right?
Let's stop it there. Not only is Sam attacking the Manosphere, attacking, red pill people, he continues down the perfect feminist left wing. The problem with the men is another man. So these men must have been abused by their fathers. So now another man is the issue. Never once does he acknowledge the amount of beatings mental beatings that men have been put through by feminists, by feminism, by the left, and by women. Men are constantly told that they're not good enough, they don't make enough money, they're not handsome enough, they're toxic. Everything about being a male or a man is terrible, it's horrible. And this is the ideology that's being pushed in schools. It's being pushed K through 12. It's being pushed at playgrounds. It's being pushed at after-school programs. It's being pushed in colleges across the United States of America, unless you go to some type of traditional Christian college or something like that. This, and even in the conservative movement, you see a lot of covert feminism. Andrew Wilson actually brought that up. He exposed it really good against Tommy Lauren. And, you know, it goes on a lot with conservatives as well. It's a little bit more hidden. It's a little bit more subtle, but it's definitely happening. But it's typical that every single issue has to be something that's with men. But that's not the case. Let's continue.
Right. You know, beat enough kids, and some number of them will grow up to be bad people. I mean, maybe that is a piece of causality we need to be aware of. I mean, it's yet another reason not to beat kids. You might make them into bad adults, but it's just it's a very grim document. I challenge anyone to watch that documentary and come away feeling hopeful for the men in our culture, the young men in our culture, and the women who have to live with them.
Right, but don't you think this just represents a small...
There's a problem with the men in our culture, and he feels sorry for the men in our culture and the women who have to live with them. Once again, the women are always the victims, constantly the victims. There's nobody coming to the defense of men except for these guys in the quote unquote manosphere. And maybe one could argue they're not doing it correctly, or they're not saying things that sound nice about women or whatnot. But women are not saying things that sound like nice about men. Your average run of the day man, your average man just working a 9-to-5, just working a job, has a normal, decent car. Maybe he's not the best looking on the planet. He's, you know, just a normal, average, nice guy, is invisible to women. Women treat them like they're nothing, like they don't exist. You can have guys who actually are above average, way above average. And if that person isn't displaying this fake image, you know, internet style image with a fancy car or fancy clothes or anything like that, he's basically invisible too. A woman will automatically assume that this is just another average Joe Blow that isn't worth paying any attention to. When you start marginalizing men and treating them like they don't exist and treating them like they're nothing, and you're never giving them an out, this is what happens. This is what happens. They go internal. And they start feeling resentment. They feel resentment towards society. They feel like nobody's listening. Men have one of the highest suicide rates of all time right now. Young men don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn. Nobody wants to help them. Our entire society has been geared towards the uplifting and empowerment of women, not caring how that could be damaging young men. Let's continue.
Small slice, a corner of the population. When I look around and I see,
I don't think it's so
today,
small. No. I think when Andrew Tate becomes the most Googled person on the internet, you know, above Trump in that whatever year that was, you can't say it's small. I mean, maybe it's not most of us, but it's not small.
Yeah, I mean,
Andrew Tate became the most Googled man on the internet or whatnot because the left and feminists and the media did everything that they could to try to destroy him. And in doing so, they did nothing but amplify his message. There is a quote where, all news is good news and bad news or whatnot, when somebody is talking about you, because it just does nothing but put more eyes on you. So that's why Andrew Tate had more eyes put on him, was because the media did everything that they could to try to destroy him. And in doing so, they had an adverse reaction, and he actually blew up, and his message blew up, because a whole lot of disenfranchised young men out there who are just trying to make it in this world and understand this world, who are saying, hey, why am I being treated like this? Why do I feel marginalized? Why do I feel like no matter what I do, I'm just nothing but toxic. I'm a problem everywhere that I go. I'm not welcome. If I like a girl, or if I think she's cute and I smile when she walks past me in a grocery store, I'm a creep. You know, every single thing about men is being destroyed publicly. And we're all supposed to just pretend like there aren't going to be any adverse reactions, or any, for every action, there's a positive or negative reaction. We're acting like when you're continuously beating these men down mentally, there's just never going to be a reaction. And they are very wrong about that.
I see kids, and I see so many great kids out there. I don't see people. I mean, again, it's obviously
but look at the level of celebrity. I mean, again, they could have been an artifact, but just that some of these people who I had never even seen or heard about. Well, that one guy, his name was Sneeko, right? Like, he's walking through Manhattan with Sneeko. Did you see the kind of level of celebrity that guy had, just walking the streets of Manhattan?
I didn't see it. Yeah.
Oh no! I mean, it's like, you know, I've never been walking the streets of Manhattan and had dozens of teenagers recognize me and freak out. This guy's I mean, he's a celebrity among, you know, teenage boys at a minimum.
Well, Sam, hate to break it to you, but these are young men who are watching other young men. You're, you know, older generation, and a little bit more intellectual in certain areas than what the kids are watching and streaming these days. So they're probably not going to recognize you as much. Your crowd is going to be a little bit older. You are, you know, not their first thing that they're going to go and watch. They watch these guys on the internet because they're going there to get some type of relief or have some fun on the internet or whatnot. Your content, although it's phenomenal, is much more serious of a tone or whatnot, and not something typical that, you know, 21-year-olds and 20-year-olds are watching on a daily basis or whatnot. Your crowd is a much older crowd. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. This video is starting to get a little bit long, but just wanted to point out here how skewed sometimes Sam can be in the opposite direction. It would be nice if a lot more men started to speak out with the more men like Sam Harris in defense of men where he can help men, because Sam Harris is extremely articulate, very well-spoken, soft-spoken, and can convey messages in a much better way than some would say that an Andrew Tate or a Myron Gaines would express a message or whatnot. It'd be nice to see someone like Sam come out and, you know, kind of speak in favor of young men, because young men need somebody that's going to speak in their favor. And if you don't have that, they're going to keep going towards, you know, the grimier side of the Manosphere or whatnot. And some of them may not even go that route. Some of them may still be just, you know, regular young gentlemen or whatnot, but they're going to, you know, turn into, you know, a recluse and just shut out the world and live in quiet agony. The real issue here is that men have been being destroyed for just being men, for just being boys. From the time they come out of the womb, all of society does nothing but chastise little boys from day one on how to act towards females, and females are told that they can do whatever they want to do because they're little princesses and nobody better get in their way. And our society is showing that that's what we're doing, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse. Both men and women, families, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles need to start teaching dual respect to children, teenagers, kids, college-age students, and above. Dual respect. But that's all for now. We're not going to keep this video going for too long.